Everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis. So, continuing with our Reinforcing General series, we're going to be looking at archers. I do want to clarify one thing from yesterday and point out something else that is my train of thought. And some people, and it's not always the mainstream thought in Evony. So, first off, I want to go over two generals I did not discuss yesterday, and one is Freya. Where are you? There you are. She helps with ground reinforcements. I'm going to show you the numbers. And then Dimitri, the only reinforcement general we have had for about 6.5 years in Evony before Evony finally thought that reinforcements were important. So here's the numbers with these two. Dimitri, 51, 40, 86. Freya at the top, 10, 70, 70. That's with no red stars. That's only full spec and main skill. Looking at that, Dimitri has value as assistant for ground, and that's it. He's not going to be good for range. I could show you that today, but there's really no point. You can look at it on your own. He's basically a ground reinforcement general as assistant. Freya, you could also use as assistant, but she really lacks the attack. I wouldn't really go with her. Now, one other thing I want to clarify is this chart where all these different wording that Evony's generals in city, reinforcing, marching, attacking, defending, whether they work, where they don't work. There's one mistake on here, in my opinion, and in some people's opinion. Marching buffs, I believe there should be an X here, and that they do work when reinforcing a city. Some people say they don't. Take that with a grain of salt. Do your own tests. I believe they do work. I'm going to show you a little test that someone did, and someone wrote me after the video. And you know what? After they did it, I was like, you know what? I always thought I was right, and I kind of got bullied into thinking they don't work. So I'm going to continue on with my thought that they do work. This is what they did to test it. They only increased this talent. You could see that it's a marching ground attack, and here are their results. So right here, you could also see, looking at the location in battlefield, this was not in a building. Buildings would have zeros as the last digit. You could look here, 2065 on ground attack. Then they increased the talent, and it's at 2097. Okay, so there you go. That's my thought process. Is it right? I believe so, but you could do your own test. Now we're going to look at the different generals you can use to reinforce with your teammates. We're going to look at free-to-play ones, and then I'm only going to discuss a few of the big money generals. So here, in my opinion, Mina is going to be your top free-to-play general in reinforcing. 141 attack, 100 HP, and 30 defense. So if we look at Mina here, it is just very, very strong. You're going to have to use a dragon. And you can see he really, really goes up. And right there, range attack 46. So it's really important to finish that final specialty. He has lots of different skills here. Now, I also added Merlin. Lots of people think Merlin is the top general. Yes, this is Marcus, but I just wanted to show you basically all of the new generals have two-way buffs. So right here, he loses nothing, right? He loses just some defense, 40%. If you look in the Covenant, he loses a little bit to in rally. And then if you look at his skills up here, they are all marching. Now, if we look at Merlin, Merlin basically keeps almost everything. So Merlin would, in most people's eyes, be the top general for reinforcing. If you're going to use him, he loses attacking, range 15%. The rest in here, there's no attacking wording in there. This guy is awesome. Godfrey, if you want to look at him, increase range attack HP by 40%. And then here works, except that one, 10%, but you get the march size. And all of that works, and that is big, 30%. Looking up here, they all work. Godfrey would be great as an assistant if you do have him. Any of these big ticket guys for range general, one thing you're going to see here is that your best value is going to be to use a premium general as the assistant. And one other general I do want to talk about is Idun. You can look through all this on your own, but she is awesome. 45s, 50s here, out city, defending. That basically means not on your wall or not attacking. It works any other area, and she's been available in some events. So if you're on a server that's had those events, you can get her. Here's her stats: 110, 105, 100, and you could reasonably ascend her a little bit also. So if you do have her, I would consider using her in any situation because she doesn't need a dragon either. And she's actually, I have 3 copies of her. So she's not that difficult to get. And right there, where are you? I done right here. So 3 copies. I've got her in events, and lots of people should also have her as well, except if you're on a server that's new or maybe hasn't had those events or you didn't participate in them. But give some thought to using her, and then you could actually combine her with one of the premiums. And you'd save on Blood of Ares not having to ascend Mina to 10. Scott is someone that people sleep on all the time. So Winfield Scott right here, 115 attack, 25 HP, 35 defense. Compare him to Mina. And that's what you're getting when he's fully ascended. So I'd still take Mina in there, obviously. But compare him to Merlin. And not bad. Like, obviously, his ascension's not going to work as assistant, so you're going to lose some of that. But Merlin is harder to get. Now, we're going to look at someone who's sneaky good here. Zach Taylor, Wall General. Everyone's always looked at him and been like, hey, Wall General with archer skills? Now we actually have a use for him. So you look at his main skill, 50%. And then all this other stuff is really nice. Up here, if you have him fully ascended, you could basically use him as your main guy. So on the left here with Taylor is what he is non-ascended. On the right is full 10 stars. So if you're going to compare him to Mina, like if you already got Taylor done because he used to be your wall general, you'd have 121 attack to Mina's 141. You'd have 70 HP and 65 defense. There's a credible argument to that. But just using him as assistant, not ascended, you could do worse than him. A lot of attack there if you can't find Merlin or Marcus or anyone like that as assistant. Now, one other person I do want to talk about here is Electra. So Electra is a great mixed general. She's in here. Where are you going to put her, Evony? Is she going to be mounted? Is she going to be ranged? There she is. So she has some mount skills in there. I thought she was mixed. Anyways, the problem with Electra, she has very good buffs. Did I add her up here? No, I didn't. The reason I didn't add her up is because Mina has better buffs as long as you do that final spec. Lots of Mina's skills comes down to the final spec. Now, the problem with Electra, you can't use her as assistant. You're going to have to choose between her and Mina as the main because they both need a dragon. But Mina's going to be easier to get copies of because he's in the tavern. So that's my recommendations for Archer General. Merlin or Marcus, any of them could be the assistant and help out. But unless you're a really big spender, you're not going to have enough copies for them to be the main. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this, and like, subscribe, leave a comment.